Three, two, one. Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Bear, and joining me today, you know her, you love her, the responsibly radiant Roadypie.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having me back. I'm looking forward to talking about all the wonderful releases and gems that you found.
Yep. Oh, actually, I'd say that about half these gems were spotted by you this week for sure. But yeah, we're gonna get to those very, very soon. I'm excited. Akiho, hello, and
Yay!
Spiral J, welcome. I'm glad to have you.
Spiral! Yay! Hey, Spiral, thanks for dropping in. Yay! Thank you, Akio, for dropping in also.
Right, so
I'm hoping we get a few more peeps. But yeah, what are we diving into first?
Well, the first thing is, what have you been playing this last week? I mean, I know you're still working through your Steam library, so what's an update on that?
Yes. So I've been playing Wondersong on my stream. So I got gifted that by a friend. I started it. Oh, thank you, Spiral. So I started it on Tuesday, and it's I was kind of looking forward to it because it's very uplifting. It's very bright and colourful, and Spiral's being cheeky now. But I ended up being a little bit disappointed because it's one of I feel like it's slightly a bit of a puzzle platformer, which is I don't like platformers. I find like some of the things are a little bit fiddly. But other than that, the story's like very interesting, and I can see what they're trying to do, and it's quite lovely. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but I haven't been able to play much else because I've had company around. So, but I will plow on ahead with the never-ending Steam list. I did dip into Final Fantasy XIV, of course.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
Yes.
So hearing that, I am very into platformers, so maybe I should like get Wanderson sooner because that does sound. It's such a cute-looking game. I really like it. And
I mean, you did put it on your wish list, didn't you?
Yeah, it's on my wish list. It's sitting there. But yeah, my wish list is now probably longer than your list of games that you have to finish at this point. Well, no, maybe not. My wish list is only like 170 now.
I got about 450 games to play through or something. Still. Yeah.
And I completely missed it, but there's a game Celeste which I had not had in my wish list, but apparently everyone loves it. So.
Oh yeah, that came out quite a while ago. Yeah.
But that's like a puzzle platformer as well.
Yeah. But what have you been playing this week?
What have I been? Well, I've been doing some, besides all the holiday stuff going on, I found this wonderful little game called Portal Stories Mel. Actually.
Akio says we all have a long list. We all do.
Yes. So Portal Stories Mel, I think we talked about it a while ago, just because the developers of another game, Dungeon Tales Plot of the Demiurge or something like that, they made this. They also made this mod for Portal 2 called Portal Stories Mel. If you own Portal 2, it's free. So it's just this like nice standalone mod. Very good. I'm halfway through it.
I think you reviewed this on. Yeah, you did review this on the podcast once, didn't you?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah. Yep. That's right.
It's really good. It's very challenging. Like it doesn't have those tutorial levels like Portal 2 does. Like it kind of picks you up at the difficulty that you finished Portal 2 at. So some of the puzzles are real head scratchers until you figure them out. I'm a little bit halfway through, and it's gradually getting harder. So I'm looking forward to see what's next.
Yes, Spiral says Mel is great. Tough though.
Yes, it's quite tough. Because it's kind of sparse. Like, much of the rest of Portal 2, you know, there's often spots where you can like put your portal in various different locations. You have to really look for portable walls that you can actually
Right.
put your portal on in this game.
Yeah.
Because yeah, there seems to be a real lack of moon dust, and
Oh.
yeah, that's a Portal 2 spoiler, moon dust. But yeah, so there is a lot of that, and it's a good game. So I just have to say I definitely absolutely recommend it. It's an excellent game.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, that's good. You know, coming
Mhm.
back, from a review, getting to play it, and then it's like, yeah, no, we were right on this
Mhm.
one. This is a good
Yep.
one too.
Also, there is I've been playing a ton of Torchlight 2 because I actually got to be in the beta for the new Torchlight Frontiers game, no alpha,
Ah,
which
okay.
you can talk about it, but you can't share any images from it, so no
Right,
screens or
right,
anything.
right.
But yeah, I played it, and I have to say it feels a lot like a Torchlight game, just updated.
Okay, okay.
So that's good. But you know, it got me in the mood for Torchlight 2, so I've been doing a ton of that.
Oh,
Uh,
nice, nice.
I tried to I tried to do elite hardcore mode for each of the classes. Died horribly, so now I'm just doing like veteran difficulty, which is a step below elite, on permadeath as well. So yes.
Akio says Torchlight 2 is very good. We need more games like it.
Yes, Torchlight 2 is an excellent game. It's so good, and I really am looking out for those like ARPGs, those action RPGs that those isometric Diablo-like games. Oh, they're so fun. They're so fun. I really like them, especially when they have permadeath modes, because that rush of excitement with permadeath, where it's like I'm about to lose 20 hours of gameplay.
Oh
It's
my
fun.
god, that's a hard no for me. I can't because that's the thing with me. If I lost all of that progress, I would just be like, nah, nah, that's it. I can't be asked. No, no.
Yeah.
Well, I am ham-handed, so I'm it's just, I would just mess up after like an hour or so.
I mean, other than that, like I too have been playing Final Fantasy XIV, and on the topic of Final Fantasy XIV, there was a cool event that happened this last week,
No.
which was Final Fantasy XIV Fan Fest.
Las Vegas.
Yes, in Las Vegas. I wish I
Mm.
could be there. Maybe after I move, because I'm moving to a place that's like 4 hours outside of Las Vegas. So
Oh, that's not bad. Not
hopefully I'll be able
bad.
to go next year.
Well, I'm going to the Paris one, so.
Oh, awesome! I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to like keep an eye at like your social media then and see if you post any nice scoops.
Probably on Instagram, if
Mm-hmm.
anything. I'll be posting all the pictures and everything on there. But yeah, it's gonna be great. But so what are you looking forward to the most?
Well, interestingly, so the expansion, like all that information, we get kind of a cursory glance of the new expansion, Shadowbringers. A lot of it's kind of, you can kind of assume, you know, we know what's in a Final Fantasy expansion at this point.
They didn't give too much information away about it. It was more sort of a teaser rather than this is what it is. Because I think in the past they've been a bit more open about what's gonna happen, and then they've expanded upon it at each of the fan fests. But this is just like, no, we're just gonna tease you. You know, there's an expansion, but we're not gonna give you so much information.
Yep, but the North American Fan Fest, that's kind of what it often is. We get like some big stuff, but then it's kind of a lot of just like, wait for the European Fan Fest.
Oh no, I mean when when they reveal what it is, they normally say this is what you sort of gonna be doing story wise.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
normally
they were really cagey on the story, weren't they?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's because they don't want to spoil 4.5 plot, probably.
Yeah.
Yep. So, which makes 4.5 really cool. But interestingly enough, that's what I'm most excited for is 4.5 because they're introducing the Blue Mage.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. I have a couple of other jobs, but I've not gotten any up to like level 70. Only the summoner. And when Blue Mage gets released, I will do what I usually do when expansions gets released, and will be crafting at the auction house and putting on the gear that the blue mage was used. So I make some quick coin, but I just I mean, it's fantastic. I did hear rumors. There were people talking about it on YouTube everywhere before FanFest hit or anything
Mhm.
like that. They're saying, "Oh, you know, we've heard some rumors that Blue Mage is going to be released for the next patch," and there was some saying, "Oh no, you know, hopefully it might happen, but it probably won't happen." So
Mhm.
before it hit, I was kind of like, that would be interesting. That would be interesting."
Unfortunately, so far the leaks have been correct. There was
Mm,
like someone who was like leaking stuff, and I don't like leaks because it kind of messes with the speculation and excitement for
mm,
stuff. But yeah, so far there were a series of leaks that came out, and so far they've all been on the nose, with maybe one or two exceptions, but 90% correct so far. The blue mage. What excites me at the blue mage is it works like it did in older Final Fantasies, in that
mm.
you don't learn your skills by leveling up as all the other classes do, but you learn your
Yeah,
skills by killing monsters,
yeah.
which is kind of cool. It's like a gotta
I
catch 'em all kind of thing.
I played Blue Mage in Final Fantasy XI,
Hmm.
and it was rough. So rough because there was no guarantee that you would get it after a monster kill, or after the monster did that move, you would then do your thing that would, you know, try and learn the move. And
Yep.
then you killed it and it was like, nothing. I have not still not learned that skill. So yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah, and that's exactly how they're doing it in 14, where it's
Oh
not a
god.
guaranteed drop. So, now granted, different types of creatures. For example, if you kill a level 30 Morble, you have a lower
Mm,
chance of getting the skill than if you killed a level 50 Morble. Like, so the
right.
more
Okay.
difficult the enemy is, apparently, the higher the drop rate. So, the
Right.
higher levels.
Okay.
So, and likewise, if it's a boss Morble, you're much more likely to get it than if it's just a.
So basically, grab your friends because you're gonna need that support, especially
Mhm.
you know when you go after
Yep.
the bosses and boss monsters and everything like that. And dungeons. It obviously it's so much more fun with friends, but I think I can see people gonna get annoyed with blue mage
Mhm.
players. They say, "Oh God, no! You want to kill everything in the dungeon." It's like, yeah, because that one does this move and this one does. Yeah, no, you're
There's
gonna need
going
some
to
good
be a
friends for
lot of
that.
salt. There's been a lot of salt because some people just wanted the blue mage like aesthetically, like they did with the red
Mm.
mage, where the red mage is just a caster, but it's aesthetically the red mage. It doesn't function
Mm.
like the red mage in other games very much.
That's why I didn't take up the red mage, even though that
Yeah.
was my primary job in Final Fantasy 11,
Hmm.
which it just disappointed me, to be
While the
honest.
blue mage is functionally similar. And so there's
Mm.
some degree of salt of that, and was like, why couldn't they just be consistent? Well, at the same time, it's like this adds some new variety to the gameplay.
Mm.
You cannot use the dungeon queuer. You must do like group finder with when you're playing as a blue mage.
Ooh, okay, okay. That's
Because of how the blue mage progresses, like there's no
mm,
guarantee. There's 49 skills that the blue mage can have, and they can only equip 24 at a time.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
which
I
means, yeah.
I might. I mean, like if I had like my friends together, I would just. I would kind of. I'd want to like play the blue mage because it'd be like, oh no, this would be like a fun, just to
Mhm.
try and get all the spells. It's just like a goal, you know. It's like an interesting goal to
Yep.
do for yourself, you know. I
It's
think
just
it's
like
cool.
playing a ranger in Guild Wars 2 or in World of Warcraft for that matter, a
Mm.
hunter, collecting all the pets, all the different pets.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same in 11. It is like I would try and get all the spells, and I have a spreadsheet
Yep.
for them, where to get them, and this, that, and the other. But it was trying to find someone that would help you get them because it's like the bigger monsters. There's just no way. Oh,
Yes.
oh. So Spiral is someone that I do play Final Fantasy 14 with, and he says, "Why you panic in the dungeon, Rhodey?" And it's true. Me and our friend Mard, we go, this is happening. And Spyro's like, calm down, girls, calm down.
That's pretty good.
And Akio wants to play Blue Mage now. Well, Akio, you can always get the game and join us on Moogle server.
And there's a really
if you
cool
join our
thing.
group.
So because the Blue Mage is for a Realm Reborn part of the game, you can play a Realm Reborn for free up to level 35, unlimited time, which means you have access to Blue Mage.
There you
they're
go,
not blocking
Akio.
you off. So
there
you can play the game for free.
You want to give it a taster? You can do.
Yep. So because basically what they're doing so far is half of the levels are free in Final Fantasy XIV. So the max level cap is 70, up to 35 is the free part of the game. So that's actually a really cool business model. It's like the RuneScape business model where like 10% of the game is free, and that 10% expands as the whole game expands.
Cool. Akio says, "Oh no, you're a crack dealer with a free taste."
yes, free taste.
And
though I have so much more, I have so much more to talk about Final Fantasy XIV.
We do, but we must crack on with our with the lovely gems that we found this week.
Yes.
So it's been a pretty good week, I think.
Good week. It has been good. So starting up, we've got kind of a weird thing. You know LucasArts, that studio that doesn't exist anymore. They have a bunch of LucasArts games released on Friday. Everything from Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, Escape from Monkey Island, Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, which, by the way, is very fun. I believe that was a Nintendo... wasn't 64. Was it 64? It might have been Nintendo 64. So there's like some console exclusive games that are now on PC. Yeah. There's some just really old games that just have not been available for a very long time. And this seems kind of like an interesting thing. Like, these forgotten studios, this is kind of a cool thing if like these old studios are going to be hosting their, essentially games that really aren't making them much money anymore. Just post them on Steam.
So a lot of people are just like downloading from whatchamacallit?
Like a torrent site or something like that, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think, but retro gamers will know. Retro point and click gamers will know. They'll know what I'm on about. But you can get the entire backlog of LucasArts games with this particular thing, and Sierra games as well. But yeah, I super excited because I played like the Fate of Atlantis and things like that before, and then I was like saw the Emperor's Tomb and the Infernal Machine, and I'd never played the Infernal Machine at all because I was probably out for the N64 or something. Although looking at the Emperor's Tomb, that was like I 3D graphics. I might have I played the Last Crusade. I didn't play the Emperor's Tomb or the Infernal Machine. So I don't know.
Yeah. I had no idea they were 3D Indiana Jones games because the only ones I knew about were the 2D platformers. So
yeah, same. I didn't know there was 3D ones. I prefer the graphics of the point and click classic ones. They're so much better because the 3D ones look more like an action adventure. We might like that more. I don't know. But it makes me question what they're going to do next, since they've gotten rid of LucasArts. It's like, maybe they'll be going into the rest of their archive and seeing what other goodies are there, and maybe revive some other games, maybe.
Yeah, it's
Like
it's a cool thing to, you know, that could be happening. Yeah, it's the future's kind of interesting because, you know, we're getting all these new indie games, but then there's also these really like old games, you know, made by what were AAA developers at the time, or AA. Yeah, and now those are coming back, and that's, you know, it's pretty exciting. It's just an exciting time.
Yeah, I would love to know if they're going to dig out that Sam and Max point and click game that wasn't completed, that wasn't released, and, you know, they get someone to complete it, or that Star Wars game they were working on before it got shut down. What was it? Oh, I can't remember now. But yeah, there's who knows? It makes me feel a bit optimistic for things that might happen in the future.
Oh yeah, they did release Sam and Max Hit the Road. I knew there was a Sam and Max there.
That was my favorite point and click game when that came out. It was just so funny and charming, and I'd love the characters, even though I'd never heard of them before. It was just like, oh, no, it's fantastic.
They're bungee jumping out of the president's nose. That's cute. Oh my word. But yeah, so lots of cool games on Steam now that just kind of special mentions. Another title that you brought up was Bargain Hunter.
Okay, so this is like something that if you live in the UK, you would have heard of, like Bargain Hunter. It is a daytime TV show that people that people they'll go to like antique markets and things, and they will haggle people down to buy these items, and then they'll try and resell them at auction to try and get the highest price. So this is that game, and I just thought I'd bring it up like very briefly because it's just like, if you are in the UK and maybe Ireland, you would have heard of Bargain Hunter. So it's such like a weird look. The fact that they brought it as a game, you know, brought it out as a game now, I just think it's incredibly charming.
That's kind of cool. It's like the Antique Roadshow, but it's all about making deals.
Yeah. It's actually, they do it the opposite way, because normally when you're an antique seller, you'll buy things first at the auction house and then you'll sell it on the market, rather than buying on a market and then going to auction. So very rarely do people actually win any money on this this TV show. Yeah. So it's just fantastic. But anyway, cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about it. I have put it on my wish list.
Right? Yeah, it's definitely doesn't seem to be like really my niche, but it's interesting at the very least. I think my dad would be really into this, actually. He would be really into this type of game. Like, he plays he always liked those kind of stock trading games, and also like, you know, some of those some auctioning. There's auctioning games that my dad always liked, and I was just like, oh, this is like the grown-up games, because it's all about spreadsheets and like calculating profits and stuff like that. I think he would actually be into this.
Cool.
And
yeah, that's a weird one we just found.
So this one's a bit of an older release, but Holy Potatoes: A Spy Story. I'll be honest, when this game released, I was like, what is this? I had no idea. I was completely unfamiliar with this, with Daylight Studios.
Oh yeah, so I am a massive fan. So much so, I've got their I've got like a lot of their mascots. So there's Mochi.
It looks like Marill, the Pokemon.
Yeah, and then I got the Tato doggy as well.
Doggy, that's cute.
So that's from the weapon shop, and that's from Holy Potatoes. We're in space. They did a cooking one where they were in a Hell's Kitchen, but this one is I imagine like similar to the weapon shop one where you recruit spies and then you send them out on missions and see how you level up. I think you level up your spies and things like that. So it is reminiscent of weapon shop sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a management game.
Yeah. But they're from the studios in Singapore, and each game is slightly different. So the one that we're in space is a bit like Faster Than Light. It has a similar mechanics to that. And the kitchen game is like, I think it's entirely different from that. So this one, I think this one is going more reminiscent of a weapon shop where you get an order and you have to like work your drones to fulfill that order sort of thing. And there's like a nice quirky story going on in between all of it. So this is going on my wish list for sure. Well, it's already on my wish list.
Lots of weird pop culture references too. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Very cheeky.
They're just adorable.
And the last honorable mention is a title called Killer 7. This released on Thursday. But so just a quick honorable mention, Killer 7. This is an assassination game.
Yeah, this is Suda 51. So this is like weird visuals, and there's gonna have the story's gonna be slightly odd and everything, but this is the first time it's been released on Steam. So I think people that are fans of Suda 57, is it 51? Suda 51, yeah, Suda 51. They'll be ecstatic that this is out on Steam. Because I think it was on PlayStation. Is it PlayStation 2? PlayStation 3? I can't remember now. But yeah.
Definitely has that modern noir kind of look. Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, this was like when it was released, it was quite a big deal. I remember there was a lot of buzz about this.
Huh?
So yeah, I just wanted to give it a mention.
Yep, it's interesting. And with that, we can finally get to the release list, guys. And starting with it, we have on Monday, November 12th, we have a JRPG Light Fairytale, Episode 1.
Yeah, Akio just says, I hope Killer 7 is ported better than Deadly Premonition was. Yeah.
Yeah, PC ports can be touch and go. It really varies, because sometimes, they just don't put the time in to make it fit for the computer.
Yeah. So, this is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy VII, but it's got these, sort of like these chibi character designs, but it's got this very, very nice modern sort of backgrounds, and it did do a Kickstarter, but unfortunately it failed. I remember putting it in my saved for so it would remind me when it's like near the end, like 48 hours to the end, but it didn't. It made like zero traction on it. So but somehow, and that was 2 years ago, but somehow it's made it. They've made it, and I'm very happy for them. it seems like, you know, it's got positive reviews. It is in early access right now. So maybe, you know, needs a bit more polish to it, but I know it's looking.
Some of my favorite games are failed Kickstarters, so
I know.
and it's always neat when you know they're still just able to like really work through it, and you know, labor of love probably if they're lacking in funding. Has NecoWorks done anything else? Yes, they have. They also did Super Knight Riders, which is a motorcycle story game. Let me see. Oh, this is like that Sega. This is like a graphical upgrade of that Sega racing game.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. It's racing and it's slightly fighting as well. Maybe you gotta fight the, you know, kick people off their bikes probably.
So it seemed to be very much kind of like we update an old school formula in a new engine kind of thing. That's kind of cool. Yeah,
and you know, it's a fairly nice price. I think you know, it's on sale now. Yeah, 10% sale. $6.47 if you're in the UK. And people were saying, you know, that graphically people are loving it. Some people are saying there needs to be, like, the story's quite nice, but there needs to be a bit more going on in the story.
Yeah, that's pretty understandable. I'm seeing like one 11-hour review, but a lot of like 3-hour reviews. I'm wondering if like
three
might not be very long.
Someone with 8 hours on there.
Yep.
This is the thing. If it's also like episodic, are we going to?
Is there going to be an episode 2? Does it end in a cliffhanger, or does it have a nice resolution still? Yep.
Yeah, they're just gonna run out of money and not be able to complete the game. We shall see. We shall see. But you know, if you want like a quick, charming JRPG reminiscent of Final Fantasy VII, I think, you know, this is right up your alley.
Oh, Akiho Road Rash. That is exactly the motorcycle game I was thinking of. So
that's right. Yes.
Good old Road Rash. Yeah. So it's if you're looking for kind of a classic turn-based RPG, this seems to have you covered. As far as it is in early access, like personally, I would wait for early access and to end. And again, with it being episodic, I'd be like, when's episode 2 coming out?
Yeah.
So definitely I have 2 reservations there, but you know what? Kudos to them to keep doing the project even after their Kickstarter failed. So
yeah, it can still happen for you. This is you know what I mean? Even if the Kickstarter fails, you can still make it the game of your dreams, I suppose.
I'm wondering who they like who they commissioned to do the animation work. So that stuff doesn't come super cheaply.
No.
I mean, that said, it is like minute for minute, it is technically cheaper than professional live action trailers. But yeah. And the next title, that's all for Monday. So onwards to Tuesday, November 13th. We have Johnny Rocket.
Oh, sorry, November 12th. I think.
Is it?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, it is. It's a November 12th game. So this one's also on Monday. It's just on the wrong day. No problemo. But yeah, Johnny Rocket, Monday, November 12th. This kind of has that sort of... I mean, not... it's kind of CalArts, but not really. Like, it's definitely not the kind of mainline CalArts style, but definitely kind of reminds me of that. With this sort of wild animation and just...
the animation reminds me of, like, Hidden Folks a bit. You know, there's all these, like, little things going on, but it's, like, simple black and white drawings. But it looks. This has got so much charm, I think.
I like how his animation is just like flailing. It's like people don't move like that, but it's just kind of like just absolute panic. I love it. This is so it's like an action platformer with.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
It seems almost in like the sort of this sort of style, like the sort of style of gameplay. It's reminded me a lot of Cuphead, but sort of, you know, the bargain black and white version of Cuphead.
Oh yeah.
Because Cuphead just kind of took the world by storm. Was it last year?
Yeah.
I think that was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, was it 2 years ago? But yeah, this sort of classic animation, though, this the return of classic animation to games is something cool to see. And it's nice to see, you know, someone else did a lot of drawing work to make this.
Yeah, this is, I don't know, this is just, for me, it's just lovely. So, like, it's just charming style, and I love the animations, and I'm not sure how long it is though. That's the only thing.
When I first looked at this, there weren't any reviews, but it seems that the reviews are starting to poke in. We got 21 hours from a review, all in Russian. Plюси... man, I know that this means like positives and this means negatives, but outside of that, I don't know Russian that well.
There's people like clocking in about less than an hour. Some people just go over an hour.
Yeah, because like some people might have forgotten to leave it open, like this guy, and it looks like 21 hours, and so it could only be like a couple hours.
Saying that in the UK, it's about it's £7.19. I'm not sure I would pay that much for it. I'm looking at the other games that they've just produced like one other game, I think.
I don't think so. I think that's the publisher pack. So I think the publisher Hedy had another game. I think this is KG Studios' first title, probably. At least first title on Steam.
Okay.
But, you know, as other games that we've talked about so far, this one can pretty much run on a toaster. So, I mean, it's cute, but again, like I'm not inspired to put it on my wish list. So.
Yeah, no, same. It just looks super interesting. So if it's, you know, something that
it's got a lot of character.
Interest anyone here? Yeah, a lot of character. So the interest anyone here, you know, give it a go and let us know how it is for sure. Wait till it goes on sale, maybe. I think because we're not sure how long it is. So what we've got next?
So going on to November 13th, we have The Room 3. Which I imagine is a sequel to The Room 2?
Yep. This one, I wasn't sure if I was going to include it on the list because it's it has a big following. It's not from like a I don't think a particularly big studio, but it has such a following. But I didn't realize that they'd released the third chapter of this. So there is a story. It's basically a 3D puzzle game, but there's like a story in it, and it's like you are following you the player are following someone else. They have gone somewhere and you don't know where they've gone, and the person you're following has left you hints and everything, so you're trying to piece together what's going on. It's great. The puzzles are great, and it's basically unlocking things constantly.
So
And
it's almost like an
fascinating.
escape room point and click.
In a sense, yeah. It's not like a point and click where you have to put items together, or you have things like that. So yeah, it's super
Yep, the
interesting.
room and the room 2. So you've got quite a series, and I do wonder if it's oh yeah, so room 3 expands on the first 2 games. Um but yeah, so hopefully if for people who have been wanting to see like what's the next chapter of the story, I don't know, of course I don't know how well like this you would experience this if you haven't played the first 2.
Yeah, this is it. The thing is, I think you could jump into it if just for the puzzles. But I think you're going to get more enjoyment if you play the other 2 first, for sure. They're great. They're very well done. Spyro says it looks spoopy. It is.
Yes.
It is a bit, but not. It just has that atmosphere rather than it is trying to scare you too much. It's great.
Yeah, not quite horror game. More of a kind of like an uneasiness.
Yeah.
And in that sort of uneasy thread, we have another title, Distraint 2, another sequel to an older game, Distraint 1. Looking, this is a direct sequel to the first game.
Yeah.
And it's all about apparently this guy who's sold his soul or his humanity to get a partnership at in a company, that kind of stuff. So it's like his sort of interest. Some of it's introspection, some of it's some sort of supernatural stuff. I'm not sure, but looking into it, it seems very kind of looking into a man's broken mind kind of thing.
But also, there is a lot of positivity in this kind of game because it is your character is trying to find purpose in their life. And a lot of people who, reading through the reviews of what people have put, they said for them, it's helped them find their own purpose in life. There's people, especially there's some people that have been suffering from depression and things like that. And they said, playing this game, it made me feel, yes, I know what my purpose is. And it's uplifted them. And you wouldn't expect that from the description of what you read of the game. So, that's such a wonderful thing to read about, I think.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like oftentimes these sorts of settings, like it's kind of extends you to despair, but it is kind of cool that they apparently have sort of that turning moment, that turning point in the story. That's something cool to consider.
It's a sinister tale about restoring hope and finding your purpose, says the description.
And it seems to be available in a lot of different languages because most of the reviews are not in English. I
mean, the first game was so popular, and by the way, if you do want to get the first one, I think it's like I think it's like less than £1. So yeah, that's like it's got a massive discount.
Oh yeah,
now.
84
like
cents. Yeah, in US dollar.
So yeah, buy that right now. And
that's actually really smart. They released the sequel, and so they put the first game on a steep discount. That's I appreciate that. It's like hey, this is not too much of a buy-in to figure out the setting of this game.
Yeah,
and it looks like the original one also has that sort of widescreen format where it's like this black bars and a very widescrreen. So it feels like it's the same game. They didn't change up the formula between.
Yeah, exactly. When we were first looking at it, we was saying, "Oh, it looks like the same game," and it did really well. The first game did really well. It's got over 3,000 reviews.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So and it was positive. So guys, jump in on this.
This must be Jesse McConan's niche, because his title, Silence of the Sleep, also seems to be very, very sort of mysterious and unsettling.
Like psychological horror sort of game, yeah.
Which means that either Jesse McConan, the developer, is either a someone who's just been through a lot, or is a very broken person. But you know what? That's cool. It's a really neat. Man, I'm just not into this unsettling stuff that much, but this is kind of a tempting one, just seeing how well received it is.
Yeah, especially because there's so much like a positive message at the end, I think, especially when it says, restoring hope and finding your purpose, which is not something that you usually get in those kind of horror games, you know what I mean? So
although
I think...
although one review was like, oh yeah, at the end of the game I realized that this is a horror game, and it's just like, wait, now I'm getting mixed messages. But yeah, it definitely, like, for those of you looking for something that's psychologically intense, yeah, I'd definitely consider this one. Oh, and you know what? It's really cool to see a developer who regularly releases well-received titles. That's nice.
Yeah. I'm putting this on my wish list. I have the first one in my library, but I haven't played it yet. I think I received it from AdventureX like last year or something. So yeah.
And
so
yep.
what is next on the list?
The next, we're done with Tuesday on to Wednesday, November 14th. So this next title is Occupy White Walls. It is if it'll load, it is a free-to-play museum curation MMORPG. It is very, very weird. But I've been sort of following the development of this title for quite a bit. It's all about kind of collecting art. They have real pieces. They worked with the Met Museum in New York City. So they have kind of some official backing, and they work with it. I don't know how they make their money, because this is a free-to-play game. I mean, it's in early access right now, so maybe it'll go like buy to play after early access period or something. But they've, if you go to the website, they're very much like, they do not want to do any sort of like loot boxes or nickel and diming. They want to avoid that for their monetization scheme. So I don't know if they figured out how they're going to monetize this title yet. But yeah, it's just kind of you build a museum. It's for architecture nerds, so you can build a very interesting, beautiful museum, and then you kind of fill it with very famous pieces of art, and sometimes very obscure pieces of art. Yeah.
I think Spiral might like this one. He enjoys when we play games like Terraria and such. He looked very interested in the building of the headquarters or whatever. Very, very meticulous, builds very, very nice bases and everything like that. So maybe this will be up his alley for sure.
Yes, art galleries are spoopy.
All those eyes.
Yes. Yeah, is. It's a very strange title. It's also kind of word I'm looking for. It's kind of Minecrafty, of course, but
yeah,
very strange.
I think it's quite like a very niche sort of thing, because it's but it still looks interesting at the same time. But I think you have to, like you said, you'd be like an architect nerd, and you want everything just right and everything,
Mm-hmm.
because it seems very meticulous.
I know their goal is also a lot of social, very social features kind of stuff. So it's almost kind of like a weird, nerdy Second Life. Just
Yeah.
just without all the weird like S&M dungeons.
I wonder if
But
they're gonna, like, from people's creations, I wonder if they're going to like post it on like social media, say, oh look what this person did, or look what this person's done here. You know what I mean? Like looking at people's creations and just like posting them up, to see. Be interesting to see how they promote this.
Indeed. And the thing is, like, it's a very open-ended type of game. Like, it's all about kind of making your own fun and experience and experiencing stuff that other people have made. And it's also this kind of thing where like their goal is that like there's all these excellent, amazing works of art in these museums that most people are never going to be able to see in person, and so they have very high definition like versions of this art so that you can go in there with your character and look kind of just at each and every detail of it. So in this kind of world,
that'd be very interesting if you do like if you're bit of an art nerd as well. So it's two worlds come together: architect nerd and art nerd as well. So
yep,
definitely.
And if you're doing some like art history courses in college or something, this might be a way to get some additional resources, talking to other people who know about
this
art.
Is a free tool tool for you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. Talk about art history. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's probably the weirdest MMO out there.
Yeah.
Also, Occupy White Walls, a little thing. Notice that Occupy White Walls, the logo OWW is MMO upside down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very well done.
Yep. They're very crafty that way.
Will you be putting this on your wish list? Or will you be adding it to your library?
It's so interesting to me, but it's like EVE Online. It's like a game that I read a ton about and I find very interesting, but it's also like that Lovecraftian monster in your basement. Like you go in there and poke it with a stick a few times, but you still kind of leave that for the people who are really interested in it. It's like, oh, okay, that's just a part of the internet that exists.
I feel the same because I'm not very unlike Spiral, who is amazing at building like structures and everything in games. I'm not. I'm my guild house in Final Fantasy XIV has things just thrown out on the lawn.
Looks like it's just constant garage sale.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Spiral saw it once and he was just like, what the heck? Why is this here? I was like, well, I didn't have enough room to put it in one of my one of my bags. And he was just like, this is terrible. You're a terrible person. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, the one thing, another thing, it's I think I will probably recommend this game to my sisters though, because I have 3 sisters. One of them is a business interior designer. Another one's wanting to get into architecture. Another one's residential interior design. So I've got like 3 sisters who are all kind of into this sort of field, and I think this game might actually provide them with the kind of tools, because if you look at it, there's a lot of assets that you have access to build, these rooms, and I think that might be a neat tool for them to play around with.
Yeah, I think I know someone who's an architect, and they might find this interesting as well. So yeah, and it's free, so it's it's not
a hard buy-in.
Exactly. So yeah, we know people who would enjoy this basically. Yep. Yeah.
Now, on to something a bit somewhat more gamey and a little less weird. Which is funny because it's a Lovecraft game. Lovecraft Quest, a comics game. Yeah. So this game, Roadypie recommended this, but I also spotted it in the release list. And yeah, it's like choose your own adventure, but in comic book panels, which admittedly is kind of stylish.
I just love the art, and I love choose your own adventure games. It's but the thing is that you're on a timer. You're on a timer before like Cthulhu catches you, sort of thing. So you've got to like choose where you're gonna go and unlock these things very quickly and be very accurate, because it's just so I probably wouldn't be able to play it on I mean I could play it on Twitch, but I'd feel like I wouldn't have enough interaction with people, because normally when I play Choose Your Own Adventure with the audience, I'd say, what should we do now? Where should we go now? Have that great interactivity. But yeah, there's just something that I just really, when I'm looking at it, just really so stylish. It's really gorgeous drawings. And
This image fits the beam so well of like, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. My word. Just tentacled horrors everywhere. Oh no! It's great art. It reminds me a lot of Dark Horse comics, actually, the art style.
Yeah.
Specifically Dark Horse. And I am kind of curious who the artist is.
So there are 5 different endings. So that's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, Akio says, I wish we had more choose your own adventure stories. Make me rage at visual novels less if they gave me some choices. Yeah, yeah, there was a few, there's a few that I would probably want to play on the stream, definitely, because they're so much fun to play with other people. It's like, what should we do now? Where would you like to go?
It looks like this title really only has about, maybe an hour to 3 hours of content in it, though. So it's kind of a smaller game, but it's only $3. So
yeah,
I mean, it's half a latte.
£2, or £2 if you're British. So yeah, that's it. It's priced correctly, if so that's fine, and I don't mind paying that amount for a game, for a short game.
And it's got some replay, just like, you do have to go through the comic multiple times to see all the endings.
Yeah. And there's 5 different endings, so it's you can play it through 5 times to try and get all the endings. Be nice. But yeah, that's on my wish list.
Yep.
I hope. Excuse me. I hope that interests some other people as well.
Yeah, it's got style. That sort of comic art. It's actually making me want to read a comic. Get caught up on the web comics I've been missing out on lately.
I'm just looking if they've done anything else, but no, it looks like this is their first game.
It's got good style, and as you could predict, it's also can run on a toaster. So again, for people with budget PCs.
Yeah.
This next title is Toaster Jam, which for the life of me looks kind of like it would work out as a mobile game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was looking at it, but it was just when I was looking through like the list of releases, I was just like, oh my god, this is so cute, and the music is lovely as well.
It's kind of xylophone. The xylophone. Do. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and you've got like level creation too. That's a nice plus.
Yeah.
I like how the toaster like spurts out blood, which is actually jam, of course. It's jam.
Oh, it's so cute. It's just so adorable. And yeah, I'm.
It's just collecting the toast, and you also get to like customize
and jam.
Yeah, toast and jam. Oh. Cute.
Buffoon Batman is here. As long as they reward all playstars, if you choose to do something that makes perfect sense and are punished for it, then that sucks. By the way, you've been here since Akiko's comment about Road Rash, so quite some time actually, a good half hour. Well, thank you for joining us,
Well,
Buffoon Batman. I'm
glad to have you.
Yeah. But they made 3 games. Just looking, and they oh no, 2 games. So Toasted Jam and Iron Snout.
Oh, Iron Snout. This one's a fairly well-known game. It's I know it's done pretty well. It's got 13,000 reviews that are overwhelmingly positive for the most part.
Wow.
So yeah, they've made a pretty popular game in the past. So this title, Toaster Jam, does not seem to have the same reception so far, but just hey, from the developers of Iron Snout, you've got a new title. It is described as a casual it is kind of more of a casual experience, but it's definitely got that kind of cute aesthetic. It's easy to master, and then you can make puzzles and stuff to make life difficult for other people. So
yeah. And it's on there's a special promotion right now. There's 20% off, so it's only £1.59 if you're in the UK. And there's 9 reviews up, all positive. So
I think some people got like up to 10 hours out of this. So it probably depends how many hours you get out of this game. Probably depends on how good you are at the game.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it definitely has some good charm. An OST? Is there an OST for Justin?
Yeah.
Oh, there isn't.
An OST for Justin. There is Road Redemption, an indie take on the old Road Rash. I own it, yet it's not that good. Okay.
Yep. And with that's all of the Wednesday titles we've got.
Yeah, I probably won't put it on my wish list, but it was too cute to not mention.
It's cute. It's definitely not my style, but it is very cute. Now, somewhat of a weird title for this show. We have a VR game here called Windlands 2. There was, of course, a Windlands 1, but Windlands 1 seems much more bare-boned than this title. Windlands 2 seems much more fully baked as a game, which is impressive considering VR. VR is kind of notorious for having these sort of experiences rather than games. But this looks like a legit game that involves sort of gliding and grappling hook. It looks fun. It legit looks fun. This is one of the few times I'm like, oh, I would kind of wish I had a VR headset. This looks kind of cool.
It does looks very well done, very polished, and it does look fun.
Yeah. And VR multiplayer, when it works, I do recommend. It's an experience like none other.
I do know someone with a VR headset, so maybe they would be interested in this. Although they do say that a lot of VR games make them feel sick. So
yeah, the technology is not there yet. No. There's still a lot of development that needs to go into it. Yeah, and they're still trying to tackle the sort of nausea. I have had the pleasure of trying out some of the newer ones though, and yeah, the effects are getting better. It's getting a lot better on your nausea. So it's just gonna take time because the technology, we're not in the age of VR yet. We're still a ways away. But,
right.
But you know what? The golden age is still far ahead of us as far as VR. So we'll see.
Yeah. If you have VR yourself and you know 3 other people, it's like 4-player co-op. So yeah, I think this could be fun party game for you guys for sure.
Oh yeah, oh man, and the movement, because it's like grappling, I think it might involve a little less in the way of nausea, just because there is sort of that haptic feedback of like, okay, I'm grabbing that, and I'm grabbing that. So you're physically doing things to make yourself move, which doesn't confuse your brain as much.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Our next title. So yeah, you will require, of course, pretty decent graphics to run Windlands, and of course a VR headset. But if you have a VR headset, you probably have a gaming PC as well. So
and there seems to be so far is it all positive reviews so far? It looks like
13.
it is.
Yeah, it looks like it so far. Yeah. People are recommending that it is best with other players. Like it's not as good by yourself.
Right.
But yeah, it is online multiplayer as well as local multiplayer, co-op, online co-op, etc.
Akio says, does look pretty neat. Wish I had VR or friends. Oh.
Yeah. And on a completely different note, we're going from cutting-edge technology back to the 8-bit era. We have this title, Chief's Quest, developed by Great Chief Studio. I tried to look up information on the devs, but I couldn't find anything. They seem to be brand new on the scene. But the music is by a fella named Inigo del Valle, which he's from Spain, assuming I have the same Inigo del Valle, who is also a musician. So I think it's the same person. But yeah, the music is great. It's really good music. Excellent sprite work. And there's, you have to fight the bunny gods. The bunny god. And so it's very interesting.
When I first saw this, I didn't know really what to make of it, because it's like, is it just kind of like a platformer, action platformer really, or what? And it looked like there wasn't so much going on, you know what I mean? When it's an action platformer, there's usually like, it's normally more fast paced. At least what they've shown in the trailer, it doesn't look.
It's not super density. Like there's not a lot of density to the game.
Yeah. So I didn't know or didn't think that it was particularly that well done compared to other similar games in the genre. Buffoon Batman says, agreed. VR that people will actually want and enjoy is a long ways off. Of course, I'm speaking through what other people have said. Last VR I used was a Nintendo Virtual Boy game mod. I haven't even seen a 3D movie yet, unless you count Captain EO. And it says, you are way behind on this, Bats, is what Akio's saying. Since I have tried modern VR, it's pretty close to being there.
Yeah. I also, in 3D movies, I think, is kind of a dead end, because almost 1/3 of people can't actually see the 3D effects as they're intended. Like myself, I don't have that vision, because your eyes have to be perfectly balanced in order to detect it. And 1/3 of people do not have the eyes that are capable of seeing that. So
this is it, yeah.
Yep. Now, with VR, I do see 3D, which is amazing, because I don't see 3D in real life, because one of my eyes does not work very well at all. So it's really crazy having a VR headset and just like, oh, things have shape? They're different distances? It's amazing. Mind-blowing. But yeah, it's so back on Chief's Quest, it is an early access game, and it's not going to be terribly big, the finished product. It's only like 10 levels, 30 different types of enemies, and 7 boss battles, as well as different types of weapons that you collect. And the current game is 1 fully complete level, 1 boss battle, and 6 enemy types. So it's really about 1/10 of the way done in its current state.
So maybe when it's out of early access, it will be more that dense. There'd be more dense than, like other action platformers that we've seen.
So they say it's going to be in early access for about 5 months, so we may end up talking about this again in April. Maybe it'll get a full release.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I did really like the music, though. The music and the sprite work were really what interested me initially. But yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a lower density as far as content goes. A bit more long stretches of running. But
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. I hope
we'll
I hope it ends up being something a bit more interesting.
Yeah. Akio says, I even said the shock is not real. I'm fine. This won't affect me. It lunged at me and I did jump. The brain and graphics still does it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, some VR experiences are really good, which is why I'll never play a VR horror game. I don't play normal horror games, but I'll never play a VR horror game.
Yeah, this is something, maybe to keep an eye on, and we'll come back to it and see how it's progressed. And right now, yes, it is in early access. There's a special promotion on, so it's £3.39 currently, so it's 15% off.
Yep.
So yeah,
it is going on my wish list just because I'm curious enough about it. And I kind of want to wait, a few months and be able to keep my eye on it. But because I like those action platformers, and this is something about it. Like, I think it might actually be a sleeper hit eventually. But yeah, I do not recommend getting it now, because I do not recommend buying early access games, especially early access games that seems to be 1/10 done. So
yes,
but I am going to be keeping an eye on it.
For sure. Batman says this game seems like a cross between Wampum and Battle Olympus. And Akio says, seems weird, an early access platformer.
Yes, that is kind of strange. All right, so we have the next title is Little Dragon's Cafe.
Yeah, another Thursday game.
Yep, another Thursday title. This one, so it's like, so you run a cafe, and then you also get a dragon. So that's it seems to have that sort of like, restaurant simulator, but also an adventure RPG, just kind of combined together, as well as getting to raise a baby dragon from being small to being big, and that's
the dragon is so adorable, and I like you're running a restaurant as well. I think that's so many things that are just like, yes, this is. However, so I did contemplate on whether I was going to put this on the list or not, because even though it looks very interesting and there seems to be a fair bit to do in it and everything like that, and it ticks so many boxes for me, the price of it is it's on a special offer now. It's 20% off. It is £37.19. Original price is £46.49.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, I don't know how you can charge for that kind of game. This game is very similar to my time at Portia. Like, it's got those gathering mechanics and crafting and everything like that. And I've put a lot of time into that game, and that game was in early access, and you still had a lot to do in it and everything. But it's nowhere near that price. I don't know how they could possibly charge that much when there are other games similar to it, and with just as good graphics and everything like that. And but expect people to pay that amount.
And I'm seeing up to 14 hours on the reviews. Now, granted, this did just come out.
Been released, yeah.
Yeah, it did just release a few days ago, but.
So this was originally for the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is so interesting to me but yeah, it is kind of the price point is the one thing that would hold me off. And of course I have too many games right now, but but I have always wanted to kind of check out games like Harvest Moon. That's sort of like, it's an RPG, but it's not necessarily like, oh, gotta go save the world RPG, but it's more of kind of the mundane living in a fantasy universe RPG. And it does kind of have that aesthetic that reminds me of Spyro, and it's like my heart kind of goes, aw. It's going on my wish list, but only until like there's a steep discount. Am I going to consider getting it?
I would recommend My Time at Portia. If
My Time at Portia?
Yeah, that's similar graphics and way cheaper.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, interesting. I've seen this one recommended to me sometimes. My Time at Portia. Oh, so it's basically kind of a crafting, exploring game.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a nice stories as well, and you know you have to you build relationships and everything like that, and there are dungeons to fight in as well. So yeah, it's still in early access though, but there's, even though it's in early access, there's still a lot to do in it right now. Still loads to do. It's very.
And this one's only $20, much more reasonable.
Yeah, exactly. I backed that on Kickstarter, so that's why I have it right now. So yeah, no, I'm very pleased with how it is. But yeah, if you like those sort of Harvest Moon games, or you want to, you know, you want to start to get into them, or you know, I would get My Time at Portia, because even though it's in early access, there's still a ton of stuff to do, but put Little Dragons Cafe on your wish list, and then wait until the price massively drops.
Yep. Yeah, massively. So, yeah. Like maybe if it goes down to 15, maybe I'll pick it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 15's reasonable, I would say.
Alrighty. So the next title on our list has a great premise, by the way. It's yes. Upbreakers. So from what I can gather, this is basically, so it's, you know, it's kind of like it definitely immediately reminds me of that game Overcooked. So it's like this chaotic, like, run around and run into each other and cause trouble for each other. But yeah, at the same time, like, it's, you know, it's two teams where, you know, there's this couple breaking up and you have to gather stuff for your half of the couple. You're basically just ransacking this house.
Yeah.
It's a great premise.
Yeah, absolutely. Just reading what Akio said. Well, Portia is showing more stuff. I still don't know what you do altogether in Dragon Cafe. And Portia is made by Team 17. Price and gameplay had me more sold on Portia. Buffoon Batman says, is Team 17 the guys who made Worms? I recognise the name.
Let me see. Team 17. What else have they done? They do The Escapist, Beyond Eyes. Oh, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. They're very well trusted developer. Absolutely.
Oh man. So back on Upbreakers though.
Sorry.
This game looks like a blast. It really does.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, and this is another game in early access, but I love the premise. I mean, this would be just so much fun to play with friends, absolutely. And it is online multiplayer, local multiplayer, co-op, and online co-op, and local co-op. So, you know, this is great. Absolutely brilliant.
Look at that. Only $14.
Or $10.99 if you're in the UK. So far, this game isn't or it doesn't have a special offer yet. But you know, it's I probably would put it on my wish list just so I have a game that if I do want to maybe play with some friends or something, you know, it's like, hey, look, there's this new multiplayer game. You know, we can play this for a bit.
Yeah, so it seems like a good game to have, you know, when you have friends over, kind of stuff.
I don't know how long it is right now, though, because obviously it's only just come out, so people put in like 20 minutes so far, so I don't know. overall how long it's going to be.
Oh,
But it's a game for 2 to 16 players.
2 to 16. Oh my gosh.
That's incredible.
16 would be pure madness.
Yeah.
8 would be pure madness, but 16, my word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Upbreakers. Again, early access, so buy at your own risk, but it definitely has a neat, awesome premise, and you know, if you liked Overcooked, you'll probably enjoy this. But yeah, the one thing with multiplayer games is you have to buy multiple of them to all play together.
But you know, it might be worth it. Might be something that you and your friends all enjoy.
Whoops, this is the deluxe edition. Our next title is Bad North, which you may have seen on Discord for the last few months.
That's right, yeah. This was a special offer, wasn't it? It was like a special thing for it, yeah.
Well, yes, Discord has something called Discord exclusives, where they make a deal with an indie dev that, hey, we will be your first release site. Because Discord wants to eventually compete with Steam. Good luck on that. But you know, I appreciate that there are people trying to compete with Steam. I love that. Competition's good.
Because hopefully, you know, with competition, Steam will start clearing up all the crap that it releases. You know what I mean? But Akio says was amazing when Steam did 4-pack deals. Absolutely agree. Agree. That's how I got really Castle Crashers. Yeah. This is it, because a lot of the games I don't like, multiplayer games I don't buy, because it's like, well, who's going to play this with me? You know what I mean? Whereas if I say, hey, I will get the pack and I will like gift to my friends, and it's like you're more likely to get it.
Yeah, and Bad North, like, with the whole thing, like, competition, you know, the Discord specifically helping to fund indie games, that's also very awesome.
That's nice. Very nice.
I am kind of wondering, like, how Discord makes their money, because, like, they're such a nice free service. I know they have, like, corporate deals with, like, businesses where it's like, oh, hey, we'll be your embedded chat service, and so they make money that way. But... and I guess they make money, of course, on sales of games on Discord, but it's a neat system that Discord has there. Bad North is kind of that RTS game, which I hate RTSs, but it looks like a good example of an RTS, kind of small in scale, where you have like individual challenges and stuff.
I used to play RTSs. So this like piqued my interest, because it's like from island to island, instead of, you know, you get your instead of you get a big map and then you know, you have to build up your army, you know, put your base and then you build up this, that and the other, and then you slowly move across the map. Instead it's like you've got an island now and you start off on the island and then you have to keep conquering people on the island and then move on. So that's interesting to me. That's very interesting to me. And graphically it looks very nice, and I like the fact that you can, you know, you can turn it as well. The way it turns and everything reminds me a bit of like Fez. But also another thing that I found very interesting is that the publisher is Raw Fury. And they did they published Cafe Rain, which is like one of the best modern point and click games that I've played, which came out not that well, it came out a few years ago. So
they also did the game Kingdom, which was also pretty well known.
Yeah. So yeah, fantastic. So yeah, they bring up like quite good quality games, and but yeah, to me this game's very interesting. I'm curious to see like how people how people, find it, what they think of it, and just how they get on with it. Because there's are some negatives on here. Someone's put in 8 hours and they've said very shallow game, very few different units, which is like when you play those type of games that you actually first 30 maps are very tedious without any challenge. Every run feels the same, no new items, no new units, no new nothing. Ooh, that's quite harsh. That is very harsh.
But I don't know.
Justin is here. Justin is here.
I am someone who kind of hates RTS. I've played a ton of them, but I play them because my friends like to play them. So if I'm going to play any games with my friends, they're going to be RTSs, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna swallow it and just do it. Okay.
Akio says, "Oh man, that's a concept. A cleaner Steam through Discord. GOG is a bit weird to follow new games. Humble Bundle is crazy insane with stuff. Subbing to get deals and random free games. Then the bundles that are all over nowadays before the main shop. Humble bundles cluttered. Also Twitch selling games and stuff.
Yes.
So yeah."
I actually have a ton of Twitch games. I think I actually own Bad North through Twitch. But yeah. I have a ton of Twitch games and I haven't played any of them. I got to get to them eventually. So
yeah. And howdy ho, Justin. I'm glad you can make it. I hope all is well with you. We did give you a mention about an OTS music that you might be interested in.
Yeah. So one thing with Bad North that does kind of bring it up. So I have just this mini little rant. So Steam, the one we're starting to see, like, I've been reading articles and I don't really have any links to them at the moment, but there's been kind of a pulling back of 3 AAA publishers from Steam, which doesn't really affect me that much because I haven't played a AAA game in a really long time. I don't really buy AAA games. It's just not a thing for me. But we're starting to see it because
spend that kind of money.
Yeah, so Steam takes a 30% cut from sales of games on Steam, which means that just by being a platform, they get 30% of everything that you pay, and only the remaining 70% goes to the developer. Which of course they have to like figure out their profits from there. We're starting to see like more and more AAA studios kind of pull back, and it is kind of interesting to see like Steam is kind of becoming more the haven for the indie game, but again, like thinking of like, oh man, those indie developers are having to pay 30% to Steam out of their sales.
I think it's absolutely appalling because they have the developers, it's $100 to put on your game, which is like, it's fairly reasonable. And but then on top of that, every sale you make, it's taking 30%. Now, some of these games that you've seen, they're about like £2 to £3, and it's just like, they're going to be giving like 30% of that to Steam, and it's like they've already taken $100 away from me, and they have loads and loads of developers putting up crap games and everything, because it's only cost $100. They're making some bank on that just by charging that. Unbelievably greedy. I would have said, especially considering how many indies there are on this platform, I would have thought like 10% would have been more than reasonable.
Unfortunately, it's just kind of like, Steam's just gonna roll in the money, basically until there's a reasonable competitor for those indie dollars. Until there's, and at the moment, I don't see a competitor yet. I really hope that a competitor will appear to Steam, because I'm a Steam fanboy, just FYI. But
yeah,
I mean, like, I'm an achievements whore. This is the platform that I choose to play my games on. But
same.
I also am very cognizant that it is an unhealthy environment for Steam to not have competition. So
absolutely. Just for the amount of crap and malware that that games have been put on here, that are hidden in the games as well, and they do nothing about it until it gets reported. They check on nothing. There's some abhorrent behavior on Steam as well, and they can charge 30%. No, find out charging 30% to every single game that gets sold. There really needs to be someone else to come in and offer a better deal for those small time developers, and just a better deal for the consumer as well.
Yep. So that's just a situation. That's I'm hoping Discord does end up doing really well as sort of that haven for indie games. And I don't know what cut Discord takes, but hopefully it's less than Steam, because if they're able to like kind of attract like more and more indie devs, like hey, come to Discord, and like especially if they're able to have like an exclusivity deal for 3 or 4 months, where it's like, hey, you're only on Discord for a few months, and then they can release on Steam. It could be really good for Discord. I hope it works out well. The one thing Discord needs to do is improve their UI to make it more browser-like, like Steam. Steam has an excellent browser UI. I have problems with it, but it has an excellent browser UI.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Justin says, he says, I'm happy to be here, thank you. So that was one thing.
Yes, I'm glad you're
here. But he also says, I want to play this game because I rewatched the show Vikings in its entirety over the past few weeks. So,
yes.
So that's a good reason.
Also, Justin, Shogun 2 is my favorite RTS. If I'll even occasionally choose to play that game if I've forgotten that I hate RTS as a genre. And Akiho, Company of Heroes, I do actually own Company of Heroes. I have never touched it because it is an RTS. I got it in a Humble Bundle or something. But thank you for letting me know. I may try it someday, because I am going through my Steam library to finish it. But yeah, Shogun 2 is an RTS I can tolerate, mostly for the map management stuff. But when it comes to the actual RTS gameplay, I suck. Yeah.
So yeah, this is on promotion, 10% off, £10.79.
Yep.
So it's fairly reasonable. Although, if it maybe gets a bit too tedious, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I find I can never take like RTS players' word for it, because like what some RTS players like, this is a masterpiece, other RTS players are like, oh, it's all this and this and this and this, and it's just like, but that's exactly what that other game that you have has. So I don't know. I just do not trust the opinions of RTS players. But I also hate RTSs, so you can't trust my word either.
Just maybe for one of you RTS fans, give this a go. Let us know what you think.
Yep. Apparently there's no campaign story, according to this review, which does I was tempted to put it on my wish list as an RTS exception. But now that I know that there's not really a story...
No, that's a deal breaker for me. There has to be a story.
There is the process of you like taking over all the islands, and that's a process, but without a story, that's not very interesting at all. But yeah, that's a deal breaker for me. But yeah, Bad North, if you're up to it, check it out if you don't need story in your games, which I know a lot of gamers actually don't need story in your games, and I think you're insane, but you know what? I require a story.
Yeah, I respect your decisions.
Yes, I respect your decisions.
So what we got next?
Our final game of the week is Marble It Up, which is like, what? This game, I feel like it's is it an Unreal 3 or Unreal 4 game? I don't know, but it's a marble game, a marble platformer. You've seen these before, but this is a particularly pretty one, and just seems to have a lot of different kind of game modes. And you know what? I have a weakness for marble games, so that's why this is here.
It does look pretty gorgeous, and I love the maps. So yeah, when it's showing there like all the different maps and everything, it looks looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
However, much with the platformer games, I'm afraid this is not for me. I'm just so ham-handed. I remember playing Marble Madness and just like getting so frustrated with it because I just kept falling off the edge. Just not something I'm able to play really. But it's like I completely understand why people would love this. Absolutely.
I get that, Akiho, when you say that, you know, when you see a game saying a story-focused game, I click off. I do too as well, because when a game often advertises itself as a story-focused game, it's like, so does that mean you neglected gameplay? It does make me immediately suspicious of that, because a game does need good gameplay. Like, gameplay is more important than story, but at the same time, if I have great gameplay without a story, I'm not engaged. I don't feel the engagement. So I need both, but I do very much understand, like, when you see something that's like, oh, this is a story focused game, is like, is the gameplay any good? Yeah.
Story rich.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, you shouldn't, if your story is really good, you shouldn't even have to mention that it's a story focused game.
Yeah.
You should just kind of get that from the sort of trailer or the gameplay. You should just immediately tell that, like, oh, this game clearly has a story. So,
yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, the backgrounds in this as well. We're just looking at it and the background art, and it looks amazing.
Yep, it's definitely not your sort of. There's a lot of marble games that are great, that are just total asset flips, but you know they still have good design. This one has both good design and good visuals, so.
And it's got that thing, you know, with the perspective thing where it's sort of blurry in the far
bokeh,
background.
yeah, the bokeh effect.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice. But yeah, bought the support good developers. Ooh, that's straight up.
But yeah, this is 15% off right now, special promotion. So it's £13.16 in the UK. And there's quite a few people already put up their recommendations for it. We're looking maybe 7 hours. It looks like 3 to 7 hours or something, maybe a bit longer.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to require a bit of a graphics card, but not too much. It's mostly going to be RAM heavy. Looking at the requirements.
Oh, hey Lance! Hey, thank you for dropping in. Hey,
Lance 2K, welcome back. Glad to see you. Yeah, so that is
Lance, done a dance in your pants.
Yeah, so I guess now it is time for Roadie. Roadie, let us know. We've come to the end of the release list. Let us know what you are going to be doing this next week.
I know, right? So, well, anyway, first, I'm going to give a strange title name of the week of this week's releases, and it's Puzzles for Smarts. ... Horses. That is the strange game title of the week. So on Tuesday I will be continuing on with Wonder Song, and it is my birthday coming up, so I will not be playing anything on the Thursday because I'll be out celebrating. But yeah, I hope you guys can join me on Tuesday, and might have a little pre-birthday celebration or something. So yeah. Yeah. Are you excited to be turning 17? Yes, Lance, I
am. Yes, so you're found at Roadypie. That's your Twitch handle. So she streams. She's got her schedule up there. Check her out. I strongly encourage you.
Tuesdays 9:30 p.m. UK time. So yeah, thank you.
Me, I also stream regularly. You can also find me on Twitter and YouTube, where we'll be posting this VOD if you missed the first half of it. But I am gonna have somewhat of an irregular streaming schedule. Like I do have a schedule posted. I'm gonna try to stick to it, but Tuesday I'm gonna be finding out when I'll be moving out of state. So as far as like scheduling I know I'm probably going to have to miss at least one Steam release podcast week, which means we'll have to do a double length episode or something the next week. There's going to be one of those that'll be coming up. I just don't know when.
I hope you'll be able to do this upcoming week though.
Yes. Jim, yeah, I'll be able to do the next week's for sure. Absolutely.
Cool.
So we have a special guest, which
yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to confirm with them, but yeah, we're gonna have a special guest next week. So, just want to make 100% sure that they're available. But they said they would be, so I'm gonna assume that that's still the case, at least for now. And
Lance says he's a special guest. You're always a special guest, Lance. Always.
Not this time. Maybe someday though. But yeah, that's basically it. You know, just life changes. So on Tuesday, I should have my schedule figured out and be able to like schedule more podcasts into the future.
Buffoon Balance says room on that screen for another guest, Lance. So yeah, you could have Lance down on there. But I really looking forward to the upcoming podcast, and I would obviously love to be on again.
Absolutely.
I really enjoy doing this, and I think a lot of nice gems this week.
Absolutely. Yeah, Roadypie's done more than probably any other co-host on the show to help kind of craft the show into what it is, and I very much appreciate it. So
thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. With that shameless plugging all done, it's time to say farewell and enter into the post game. So, auf Wiedersehen. We'll have another week of releases next week, so thank you.
Yeah, we're doing a post game and hangout. So if you still want to stick around and chat with us on Twitch, can do. Stick around for a bit, and we will be chatting away. So stick around.
Okay. Yeah.